Hi, I'm Deepansha. I'm here with my colleague Meng, and here we are both from the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering from the University of British Columbia. So today we will be presenting a comparative analysis of two blockchain data marketplaces in relation to the fair data processing and data double spending problem. So as we see that personalized AI-driven health empowers individuals to take control of their health data. Fairness in processing of the personally identifiable data is facilitated when the individual has custody of their own data, consents to the sharing of their specific use of their data, and also can withdraw their consent to access and the use of their data. And this is appropriate and they're appropriately compensated for the sharing of their data. When the secondary use of the data is not compensated or consented by the individuals, um, in respect to the data subjects or the third parties are using that data without their consent, we refer to this as the data double spending problem. If left unaddressed, concerns about the protection will act as a barrier for the health researchers and, and providers being able to access the real world health data they need for the AI powered health advances. So these are the few principles we examined in relation to the SSI model and the Ocean Protocol model. So the first principle is that the individual controls and has custody of their own data. This is at all times in case of Hyperledger model, but the control can be transferred in case of Ocean Protocol model. The individual consents to the sharing of specific use of their data. This is possible with the help of licensing through a distributor app in case of SSI model, and this is possible through automatic licensing and access variants in case of Ocean Protocol. The individual is able to withdraw their consent to the access and use of their data. This cannot be withdrawn once approved in case of both the models. The individual has been appropriately compensated for the sharing of their data. This is possible through a fixed pricing in case of SSI model and through a automatic pricing in case of Ocean Protocol. So now we will have a deep dive into the self-sovereign data marketplace, and Meng will walk through all the steps of this marketplace.
Okay, so for the self-sovereign data marketplace, it makes use of privacy-enhancing cryptography-based technology, leveraging Hyperledger in the areas and a confidential computing technique known as fully homomorphic encryption. Design of the process is inspired and developed from a conventional digital rights management system, but built on a self-sovereign identity stack. The data is issued to the individual by means of verifiable credentials, and the data is encrypted by AES and fully homomorphic encryption. The data owner shares data by presenting proof to the data manager. The data manager stores the encrypted data in the cloud, then issues a storage credential with the access token of the data. The individual sets up the data license for the distributor. The consumer purchases the data license with the distributor. And only after verifying the license credential, the individual will provide the consumers with the token used to access the data and the key to use it to decrypt the data in a verifiable credential manner. And for ease of presenting the design, the architecture is divided into two parts. First, as figure 2 shows, the data sharing and the storage architecture is presented. It includes the interaction between the data issuer, the individual, and the data manager. In this decentralized solution architecture, there can be multiple instances of each role. For example, multiple participating issuers, individuals, distributors, data managers, and consumers. And secondly, as figure 3 shows, the data licensing and the consumption architecture is presented. It shows how the license is distributed to the consumer, how the payment has been made, how the license is verified, and how the access token has been shared. Now let's turn back to the Ocean Protocol marketplace, and Deepansha will explain this.
So the Ocean Protocol Marketplace is an Ethereum-based decentralized protocol. It follows a compute-to-data approach for unlocking the data for AI analysis. So it uses the ERC20 tokens for providing a license for computing for the compute access to the data. Typically, the data will stay on the owner's premises and only the computations can be performed on the data. So it maintains a decentralized database for every transaction. Data tokens are transferred in exchange for the Ocean token. And access to the data token, it means that the user or the consumer has automatic license. Encrypted data uploaded to is encrypted data is uploaded to the cloud, and the URL is stored in a secret store, which is a combination of multiple EVMs through a parity EVM technology. Data token and metadata are published at the decentralized storage Filecoin, which is a decentralized marketplace. Keeper or a set of smart contracts maintains a registry of the data ownership and also registers the DID for each data asset. Ocean Marketplace comprises of Aquarius and OceanDB driver. Consu- Consumers use the service URL provided by the Brizo, which is a proxy for the data provider, to request the data access. So the Brizo um, verifies the SLAs and payments and instructs the operator engine to start compute algorithm on the data and transfers the payments from keeper from the escrow account to the owner. Results are then transferred to the consumer, and once the consumers are satisfied, the payment is received by the owner. So now we see there are two architectures. One is the data sharing and storage, and other is the compute to data. So basically, first we will see how the data is published onto the marketplace. So the owner wants to sell the data, they can upload their data to a storage provider like Google Drive, Dropbox, and then the URL or the is encrypted with symmetric encryption, and the fragments of this URL are stored in a combination of EVMs through a parity EVM technology. And only a consensus mechanism like 51% of the fragments combined will be able to decrypt the URL and the private key. So once the URL has been encrypted, it is published onto the marketplace along with the metadata in an Aquarius store. And the data tokens are also published to the marketplace. Now the consumers can search for the data with the help of metadata and keywords, and then they can request the marketplace to buy one data token in exchange for Ocean. So after they have received the license for computing over the data, they can request the Brizo that they have the access, compute access to data, and the Brizo will verify the payments and SLAs and also verify the payment through the escrow account, which is maintained by the keeper. And after it has verified all the details, it can instruct the operator engine to perform computations over the data. So after the computations have been performed, the consumer has the right to check whether those computations are correct or they are satisfied with it. And then after the consumer is satisfied, the payment is transferred to the owner. So as we see that in both the models, none of the models solves the double spending problem. But since we have had a deep look into both the protocols, we have known the strengths and weaknesses of both the models. And this can help us to refine the models and to be able to solve the double spending problem in future. Thank you. And we both are available for questions in the question session.